Welcome to Spill the Tea about weddings with Sheila and Teresa. Hi, I'm Teresa.
Hi, I'm Sheila. Hi, Teresa. You ready to spill the tea today?
I am, Sheila. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Oh, I am enjoying the fall.
Fall
The
is
cold
nice.
mornings. I love the cold mornings.
I still have my spring colors on.
You do.
I am ready for fall, though.
Yeah. Well, you're starting off in the mornings now with sweaters and then having to strip off and start all over again every day, but it's fine. So, Sheila, what do you want to talk about today? It's your turn to choose.
So I think we should talk about staying relevant with our couples.
Good. Well, I think Ian should have been in on this one because you're always giving him new projects so we stay relevant and hear all the in things to do. But we've got him busy doing other projects today, so let's.
He would have loved it.
He would. No, he would just bury his head and think, "Oh, what's Sheila coming up with next?"
Always great things, though.
I
And
know.
he is a good sport.
He is a good sport, yeah. And we like to keep him out of trouble by keeping him busy. So what ideas have you got for staying relevant?
Well, one of the things that I do think about being in business for several decades, I think, oh my gosh, I'm getting older. Do I understand what brides want? Am I staying on top of trends and colors and styles? And, so for me, it's really important to stay relevant. And when I talk to other vendors, sometimes I find out that they're still in their box from 10, 15,
Right.
20 years ago. And so I just casually kind of bring things up in conversation. And it's important that if we do not stay on top of what they want for today, that we'll get left behind.
Right, because it's not our wedding, it's theirs.
Right.
So we need to be aware of what they're looking for their wedding. I know quite often I'm texting you saying, hey, what colours are you seeing next year? You know, what vibe are you getting from couples? Because we need to know. We need to know what they're thinking. And obviously they get a lot of the ideas from their nemesis, my nemesis, which is Pinterest.
Yeah.
And that's where it's happening. So we all need to be aware of what's going on. So, yeah, I think this is, whilst it's for our couples, and we need to advise them that they check with the vendors that they're choosing, that they vibe with what they're looking for.
Right.
It's also a bit of a podcast for vendors, isn't
Yes,
it?
I feel like it probably is geared towards the vendors.
Right.
There was a time where everybody was getting married at church or in a chapel and then having their reception somewhere else. And then the trend became huge of getting married and the reception at one location at venues. And that's where we still are today. I am having some that are choosing church ceremonies next year, so I'm starting to see that come back in.
I got a couple of inquiries just this week from people looking for reception only, which makes me have to reevaluate what we're offering and how to make that work in my responses to start with, because obviously at the moment with our 7 different options for ceremony, we're geared towards having the whole event here. So yeah, it's definitely a good topic today.
It is. And also it is styles of weddings. And having conversations with some other vendors recently, I realized that I'm in a different position than some of the vendors because I'm talking to the couple about their budget, number one. So I'm seeing how that changes, and especially I'm seeing a lot of changes going into next year on what people are spending and what they're choosing to spend it on. Differences in photography where it used to be bright and moody. Now I'm seeing so many different varieties of when I'm working with the bride and trying to recommend them to a photographer of different styles that they're wanting to incorporate. It is with foods. Like we went through a big trend for a while there that food trucks became real popular. And I'm seeing the complete opposite now.
Well, because they all realise food trucks don't work at venues really,
Yeah.
so I mean,
Yeah.
it needed to go away, that
Yeah.
trend. But I mean, even the trends like the awful burlap and mason jar trend.
So thankful that is gone. I cannot be dramatic enough about that. And the rustic, which I think most people that do come to me, I love an elegant, beautiful table. I love candles. I want to see the flowers. I want fancy linens. Like, I love an elegant table. So most of the time, somebody that's looking super rustic is not looking at my page going, oh, that she would understand what I'm looking for. I used to, in 21, 22, have a lot of rustic items that I could blend in, but I got rid of them probably 2 years ago. Like, nobody's really going that route. And I feel like if we do not pay attention to what our couples are wanting, then we're going to lose those opportunities. And I do get that, I'm seeing budgets, I'm seeing colors, I'm seeing the differences in vendors, from pricing to styles to music, all different varieties. So for me to speak out to like fellow vendors and say, start listening, paying attention, get involved in what you're seeing being posted, not so much as trends. I'm not real big, say, oh, you have to stay on top of the trend. I love classic, and I love elegant, and I love simplistic. I love modern. Like, there's a lot of different ways that we go, but I feel that we need to be paying attention, because these younger brides, they're not wanting a bouquet toss. They're not wanting a garter toss. And some of them don't love the speeches, like being put in that weird spotlight. And I tell them, whatever you want, I'm here to make that happen.
Right. And then if you're an MC or you're a DJ and you, I mean, it's quite interesting, isn't it? A lot of the music is music we listened to when we were young, has come back and been remastered. And they think they're very trendy. Of course, we heard it before, but they're not necessarily what DJs have been used to playing in the last 5 years. And suddenly they're being asked to think about other things, and if, again, I'm not picking on DJs, but if DJs are used to announcing a garter toss or a bouquet toss, and suddenly they've got those gaps and they're not sure how they're going to fill them, that's quite important, really. I mean, I love the fact that brides are looking at different options of being more them, not having to follow what the routines
100%.
have been. And I'm like you. I mean, the on trend thing is not for me, because they come and go so quickly. But just being relevant to what couples are looking for. I mean, even from the perspective of, at the very beginning, the brochures and the pricing online. I mean, 5 years ago, people didn't all put their pricing out there. Nowadays, it's become apparent that couples are busy. They want to be quick. They want to be just checking at nighttime. They'll be scrolling on their phone and they just want to be able to look really quickly. And being relevant to those means that we have to be able to provide all that information to them. And it's a bit like, they don't want to speak to us, which is quite insulting, don't you think, that they don't want to speak to us? But the reality
but
is,
I think they're all working.
That's right.
They're not
But the thing
out of
is,
high
Sheila,
school getting married. A lot of these are professionals.
Exactly.
And their time together might be 8, 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And if they can go and look on our website, because that's what I encourage when I'm helping them find vendors, is to go online, look at their style, look at their pricing, look at the reviews, go to their social media, look at their work. I think it's important, number one, that you have a presence in social media, because I find a lot of vendors do not. So
no, they don't, and their websites are not up to date.
They
and
don't
their
have
responses
websites,
and their calendar link is not up to date, or it's broken. All of those things are so necessary, because I mean, the reality is, I don't want to talk to people either. So I'm very grateful that they don't want to message me at 9 o'clock at night and have a conversation, and it's all done. I mean, I wake up in the morning and often I think, oh, good, I've got 3 tours booked, and I've had no communication. And Ian will quite often say, well, what do you know about them? I say, absolutely nothing, which is a great experience, actually, because they come and we all get to know each other from brand new. But I think that vendors need to stay relevant, to realize that that's what couples want now. They want to be just romanced even online. They want to have a look at the funny videos that you do, and they want to just be able to go on your website and decide if they even want to reach out to you. And if you don't have all of those things in place as a vendor, you're missing a trick. And actually, perhaps we shouldn't tell people that, because then it keeps it to us and we're keeping the trick ourselves.
Then we can keep the secret.
Yeah, we'll keep the secret so that nobody else is staying relevant.
Well, I definitely think a website is important. We have a lot of, I have a lot of vendors that's been in the business for a long time that don't find it important. And I think that's very important. Most of my couples, when I thought, because I asked them, have you looked at my website or my socials? And they're like, oh, yes, I've been hours on your website. That's hours of time that they're getting to know me or my style or what people are saying about me or what I'm saying about my brides, right? Because that's just as important. And that's time that they're investing in getting to know me.
And not spending with other vendors. which is
Exactly.
perfect.
Because they have this place to spend hours
Yeah,
to go through
exactly.
all the pictures.
But the thing
and
is,
all
I
the
mean, if you
things.
were going to go and look at a restaurant, somebody said, hey, you should go and try that restaurant down in Wilmington. And if you can't Google it and find out
I'm not
anything
going.
about it, or if you can't go on social media and they've done no posts for the last 6 months, you're going to think, well, are they even open?
Right.
You know, or what kind of food is it? Because, and that's the same with vendors. If people don't know that you've got a presence and you're still relevant and you're still playing modern music or today's music, for example, or you're taking imagery that is what they're looking for nowadays, because you know not everybody wants dark and moody, or you know I know
Bright and cheery.
and not everybody wants Super 8 either, even though it's quite on trend at the moment. But you've got to know that these people are actually existing, and so staying relevant for vendors has to start at the beginning.
Yes.
Before you even communicate with them. And I'm telling you, if you expect a couple to pick up the phone and phone you to ask for pricing, you're out of luck.
I feel like if I don't answer the call the first time, that's it. That's my chance. Because I personally, if I'm looking to hire somebody to do something for me, and I say, okay, here's 3 people, I've narrowed it down to these 3, and I call 1, they don't answer, I call 2, I've left a message, and 3 answers, and we hit it off, then that's it.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, of course, if you rely on them to send you, I don't know, those awful inquiry forms,
Yeah.
and you ask 15 questions on an inquiry form before you'll give them any information, that's not what they want to do either. They want it easy. And I just feel that if you make it complicated and expect them to call you or expect them to fill an inquiry form before you give them anything,
Yeah. No.
they're going to move on to the next person. Because I know, and I'm old, but I know that if I'm asked to do something online and if it's way more than just my name, they get nothing.
I don't want to give my address and phone number
No,
if I
I
don't
don't.
even know that you're it for me.
Exactly.
Now, when somebody reaches out to me, once they come in, then I do have like a little simple contact form that does ask for their name, phone number, email, their partner's name. And then it's questions like, what are you looking for? And I have little things that they can check off. So then I know once they're through with that form, I'm not trying to sell them on everything that I've got.
Right.
I'm just focusing on the linens or talking to them about
But
the
you've
planning
met them
package.
before you ask for that degree of commitment.
Right,
That's the thing.
right. They're in
And
my store.
yeah.
If somebody calls, I'm not asking for any of that,
No,
at all.
I mean, it all needs to
I
be
don't
high
wanna do
level,
it.
doesn't it? And honestly, as I say, I promise I'm not picking on DJs. But if a DJ said, "Well, what sort of music are you looking for?" and you say, "Well, I don't know, 80s music, but it's now 2025,"
Right.
if that's not their vibe, you need to know that immediately,
Right, I
So that
agree.
you can move on to the next person. And if a photographer is talking about a type of photography that is not your vibe, dark and moody, for example, and it's not your vibe, you need to know that straight away. You can't wait until you've had 5 missed telephone tag calls before you can communicate. Or if you know a cake baker doesn't actually do, have you seen the vintage? If they don't know how to do that, and that's what you want, you need to move away from them. So if you can't see that on their social media and their website, you need to know.
And with all that being said, isn't that the key? That as vendors, we need to make sure we have a website with pricing that they can browse at their own convenience and get to know you and social media. And then when it comes to social media, you're great. You post, you post, you post, you post. You post and you post. And I am horrible. It's like I have the intention, I have the want, I have the need for it, but I'm pretty much a one-person shop. So I don't carve out that hour a day as often as I should.
Do you know how much time it takes me, Sheila? I'm going to shame you
Gosh,
now.
this is going to be a
Yeah.
Sheila, you need to do better.
You do need to do better. Sheila. I, every morning, make a cup of coffee, and in the time it takes me to drink that cup of coffee, I will have come up with my social media post for the day. So
Well-
that is less than 6 minutes, because that's how much. And during that 6 minutes, I probably do Wordle as well. So you need to do better. Siobhan.
Well, I do need to do
and
better.
I'm a one-person too. It's
But-
only me.
I am getting dressed and putting makeup on with that cup of coffee. But you are right, and I know. But there is one thing I try to make sure that's very important, is that I'm posting pictures frequent enough. I mean, I don't have stuff from 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. I do keep ones that I feel like are going to be the eye-catching, like that beautiful bouquet. And sometimes just a picture of me with the bride that I had a fun wedding day with.
Because that's so important, though, isn't it? That you're
Yeah.
relevant and you're with the brides, and people can see that you actually are doing brides today. They weren't 5 years ago, because that's
Right,
really important too, to know
I-
that you're active.
I keep it current. I just don't do daily. But I would much rather a vendor have some good pictures or videos of that DJ or the photographer posting. It doesn't have to be last weekend's wedding.
No.
But posting the best that represents themselves and have a social media than having no social media.
Yes.
And it's beyond just, to me, the website's the most important.
I agree.
A place that you can have pricing, because I, as a shopper and a budget-minded person, if I'm trying to make a decision between plumbers, the one that has his base rate to come to my home and will take the time to answer a few questions on the phone, like, well, here's what it is. What do you think it is? I'm not asking him to diagnose, but is he communicating with me versus somebody else that, oh, I can't tell you how much it is till I get there. And I'm like, oh, that's a big risk of knowing and not knowing what the price is. So I think that's the most important thing, is that if they would have a website and be transparent, because I feel like if you're transparent, that is the most that you can give a
Well,
client.
the other
is to
good
be open
thing-
and honest. I mean, I'm not competing with anybody but myself. Because what somebody else charges, they may have 2 years experience.
But the
or
other good thing
somebody
is,
more than me.
if you can see somebody's pricing, you know if it's even in your budget.
Right.
Because honestly, I mean, if you're looking for, I don't know, a photographer that's going to be offering you 4 hours and it's $1,000, there's no purpose looking at a photographer that does 8 hours for $12,000, for example,
Right,
because that's
that you
not your
can't afford.
budget. And I mean, it's the same as a venue, isn't it, really? If you
Right.
know you can't afford my venue, surely that's better to do that before you come and waste your time and my time doing a tour.
Agree.
And it's not just about wasting mine, it really is about saving the couple the time, because they're busy people, and being able to go through the list and say, okay, they speak to me, let me find out how much they cost. Oh yeah, I can afford that, great, I'll move forward.
Right.
Because I mean, whilst we all want them to like us as well, which comes as the next step, we've got to make sure that we're all going to vibe. When you look at your website, it shows some of your personality, and if
Agreed.
they don't see that and they don't see the pricing, how can they even make a decision?
Well, I don't want to make a decision on somebody sight unseen, no work. I don't know anybody
But
that they've
especially
worked
in
with.
today's
So
world of
it's-
scams as well, because I mean,
Right,
if you don't
right.
have those presences online, and you don't have Google reviews, and you don't have an active website that's updated. I mean, for
Right.
example, I put a new blog out every single month without fail, so it's dated. They can see that it's new. They can see that it's active. And if you don't have social media presence, I can't tell you how many times I look on Facebook and think, oh, that's a scam. Oh, that's a scam. Oh, that's and how can you possibly believe anybody? And there's so many stories out there now of people being taken for a ride
Right.
with, they've paid a deposit to a photographer, and suddenly the photographer doesn't answer their calls anymore. So it's not just about staying relevant, is it? It's actually being genuinely present.
Being open and honest. Because I would much rather someone go ahead and see the pricing that I have and decide that I'm a good fit for them than coming in, spending 2 hours and going, oh, well, it's out of my budget.
Yeah.
They can see right up front. And transparency is something that we all as vendors need to take very seriously, because there's so many vendors today. you've got to stand out.
Yes, for sure.
You've got to stand out. And I don't go off of, oh, I've been in business 30 years. They're just going to call my phone. Because you know what? There's a lot of
Well, and the thing
planners,
is, that's the
coordinators
thing.
for
You've
us.
been in business 30 years and I'm old. I mean, that can
I'm really old.
that can turn around and people could be concerned that you're not relevant
Right.
because of your age.
Exactly.
And, so being active and showing that you can keep up with the youngsters and know that you actually understand what they're looking for is so important, isn't it, really?
Do the research. I do the research to find out what's going on, what's next, what can I do that could be different.
I just text
and
you.
as all the easy part, as all of us vendors, whatever our craft is in this industry, that's what we all need to focus on, is reaching them authentically, transparent, and knowing what these younger couples are looking for. When they come in, I need to give them a fresh idea that they're like, oh, I haven't seen anybody else do that.
Exactly.
They
I
need
know
to choose
something
me
that
for
we
that.
always find at the venue, we try and stay on trend, like this year we built the reveal doors because they're huge. Everybody wants reveal doors. So guess what?
Right.
We didn't just do one, we did a few, but it's really important that if something has gone out of trend,
Get
you're
rid
not-
of it.
Yeah, get rid of it so people aren't seeing it anymore. So, so Sheila, give us a tip. What's on trend for 2026?
Well, everybody I'm talking to right now, it's all about the food. It seems like food has been a huge focus into going next year. I think we're going to see a lot of elegant weddings with great food.
I'm beginning to see more plated food, which I
Yes,
love.
yes. They're
And
getting
I agree with
plated.
you. I mean, I've been telling our couples for years that honestly, and I'm a bit of a snob about food, but I say catering food just tastes like catering food. It all tastes the same.
Right.
And I think it would be great if the caterers are pushed into being
Stay in
elevated.
tune with my brides next year because they're all loving the food and great cocktails. So
Oh, well, don't we all
I
love
think
a
it's
good
just going to be
cocktail.
more about the entertainment. Well, maybe not the entertainment, but the union of their family and friends.
And the
food is
experience.
very important, and they just want beautiful, elegant tables. I'm seeing a lot of printed linens that are going to be coming out next year with no influence from
So
me.
you
of
heard it
course.
first here. Next year on trend, plated meals and elegant food.
Yes, yes. Well, I think we spilled the tea.
I think we
I
have.
hope our vendor friends,
Love
our
us.
vendors that have just met us and they're listening in, that they think about this. Whether, even if you're a 20-year-old photographer that's just starting out, you're going to have brides in different age groups as well, if you're lucky. And so it's not just about vendors that's been around staying relevant with younger, but it's these younger understanding the quality that us older ones offer.
Exactly.
So for all of us, we just need to focus on staying in touch with everything. So until then, it's great to see you today.
Great to see you too.
And see you at the next podcast.
Yeah, don't forget to like, follow, and share us.
Yeah, thank you.